Welcome to 2025. What a great year in real estate this is going to be. I'm expecting some good price increases this year. We've also got some significant legislative changes coming into play. About to talk about those now. My name's McGregor and welcome to our first podcast of 2025. I'm the principal and founder of Bay Islands Property, and today we're here to talk about changes coming into legislation for property sales in 2025. Look, the biggest change to the Property Law Act in Queensland in 2025, in actually probably the last 50 to 60 years, is KVMTL. KVMTL no longer exists, or it's going to cease to be there for selling property in Queensland. So KVMTL, buyer beware. That's now changing, where the vendor, the seller, now needs to disclose everything there is with the property. Failure to do so, the buyer can rescind the contract up until the moment prior to settlement. So if the information is not supplied correctly as per the Act, if it's not supplied correctly. So if there are any, they don't have to be deliberate mistakes, just innocent mistakes can cause a significant problem. So we need to make sure we're getting these correct prior to a purchase contract being signed. These changes come into effect from the 1st of August. So a disclosure statement is going to need to include title search, a survey, any defects on the property. So you need to be able to disclose what's wrong with the property. If there are any notices that have been served by council, EPA, for example, if you've got outstanding rates, it all needs to be disclosed. The big one probably here on the islands is if the house doesn't have a final certificate. You need to be able to disclose that and tell people up front. So just think, if there is a problem with the property, we need to advise the buyer up front. Because if the buyer finds out after, they've got the right to pull the pin. They've got the right to rescind the contract. That's the purpose of this legislation. At this stage, I've still got a lot more training to go through. The REIQ is great. They're rolling out a lot of training over the next few months. So come April, hopefully I should be an expert. But until then, I can't tell you exactly about how much with the building. It's always a great idea for a seller to come up with a building and pest report, to do that up front. Again, that's going to make the sale a lot smoother, in addition to these new requirements. I mean, the downside is it's going to cost someone a lot more money to put the house on the market. You know, to do this seller disclosure statement, there's going to be several $100s worth of costs up front. Okay, so with the sale of the property, the disclosure statement's got to be given to the buyer prior to the signing of the contract. So you've got to have all these documents prepared and ready prior to putting the property on the market. So the normal process in Queensland, you sign your listing agreement, you form PO6. I can take a buyer through the property immediately after I've got that agreement signed. The buyer says, yeah, I want to buy the property. Then as the agent in Queensland, I can prepare a purchase contract and go from there. Now, from the 1st of August, that process is going to change. We're going to need the disclosure statement in our hand. We've got to be able to email it to the buyer, give them a hard copy. We've got to be able to provide it prior to entering into a contract. So they need to be aware this property doesn't have the final. You know, this property, the boundaries are incorrect. Okay? The names on the title, caveats, easements, anything like that regarding the property, the buyer needs to be aware. Going forward in long term, this is going to make the conveyancing process a lot simpler. So the buyer is going to enter into a contract knowing what they're entering into. They're going to enter into a contract safely. Great. This is a great property. It is exactly what it was promoted to be. You know, it's a good, honest transaction. It's not like the buyer finding out 3 weeks later, oh, hang on, there's a train line coming through my back door. It's going in half a kilometre down the road. I wasn't aware of that. Now I might have the right to change my mind. But by providing all the information up front, it's great for the buyer. Gives the buyer comfort in entering into a purchase contract. Whereas in Queensland, it's always been KVMTL, buyer beware. And that might take a week or so to prepare because there's documents that are going to go with this disclosure statement. Okay, so you've got to prepare all your documentation up front, have it all ready to go. If you're selling a property in 2025, call our office today. We can help guide you through the process. The timing of your property sale can be very important. But if you're planning on selling after the 1st of August, you need a conversation with a competent agent and a competent conveyancer to help you through the process. The biggest risk here, if any of this documentation is completed incorrectly or a document's not supplied correctly, the buyer has the right to rescind the contract up until the moment prior to settlement. You don't want a contract falling over because the paperwork was supplied incorrectly. Look, 2025, regardless of legislative changes or not, 2025 is a great year to sell on the islands. Our market is still strong and will continue to be that way. Yeah, Sydney and Melbourne. Look, I've spent a lot of time in Sydney and New South Wales in the last month. They keep talking about this slow market, but I'm still seeing a lot of activity down there, a lot of activity. There has been, the higher end of Sydney has dropped off, but the median price, it's still active. And that's encouraging for up here because we're still going to see activity up here. Look, I still think in 2025, we're still going to see a 5 to 10% increase in our prices. At Bay Islands Property, we're doing all the research, we're doing all the learning now to make it easier for you. Over the next few months, I need to become an expert in this field. I need to help my team become an expert in the field of these changes. We need to know everything there is about it so we can help our clients, not just for 2025, but all the way to 2040. These changes are here to stay, so we need to become experts today so we can help our clients going forward. If you're thinking of selling in 2025, call our office today on 0420 555 997. We can talk you through these changes and help you with the process, what you need to do to your property to get that best price in the shortest period of time.